Alright, in this very important video, I'm going to talk about how we can create a SEO strategy specific to your brand and audience. This kind of strategy allows you to slash up to 70% of your CPA while also increasing your brand revenue. We will be talking about every bit and piece that is required in order for you to do it yourself. We will be talking about every bit and piece of this strategy and what is required for it to work and really have a big impact on your business. This is the biggest piece of content I've done so far, so I hope you enjoy it. So without further ado, let's dive into it. The good old days where you could sell anything. Back in the days not so long ago, it was possible to wing it like never before with your online store. You could sell diapers to athletes and mountain bike to elderly people. This was possible even without optimizing your online store. But the reason for it was low competition. The competition today is directly related to the number of e-com brands. And here's the thing, it has more than tripled since 2021, as we can see here on this graph. You can count on this to make it anymore. People now spin up new Shopify store in 1 hour with AI. They steal your audience because they know how to sell any product better than you. This is why having a SEO strategy is now a necessity for your brand, not a nice to have. Hi everybody, I'm Bruno, founder of ClickGear, and I've helped over 20 e-commerce brands in the past 2 years increase their conversion by an average of 25%. I A/B test everything, even my cat. So in this document, what we will see is first, why a SEO strategy matters, then the problems without a SEO strategy, what a SEO strategy is and the problem it solves, the result of a data-driven SEO strategy, the breaking down of the CRO process, and the point of it all. So why a SEO strategy is very important. You're losing almost all of your traffic without you even knowing it. Your online store bleeds 70 to 90% of your visitor. You're not maximizing every visitor. Instead, your ad spend is through the roof. Cards get abandoned and sales are flatlining. You're running A/B tests based on I think that instead of according to the data. Without a strategy, you're just gambling. CRO map every step that your visitor will take. Awareness, interest, decision, and action. It addresses things such as an unclear offer, friction point, and a lack of trust. It fixes leaks by taking care of the biggest issue that prevents you from increasing conversion. No strategy means you're gambling your whole business with every A/B test. As we can see here on the image, we have multiple buckets of water filling a bigger one. Each of these represents a traffic source. Your creative ads that are breaking the internet, the billions of likes that you get with your social media, your killer strategy where you're always on top and you have to put zero effort, and your email marketing with 101% open rate. And all of this fills up a bucket which represents your website. So your poor design, optimized website is what makes your traffic leak. So here's the problem without a SEO strategy. Your money is burned with no or low returns. A website plus ads doesn't equal sale. This is not 2021 anymore with the e-com boom. The ads cost more and the margins are tighter. You need to squeeze the ROI out of every visitor. A/B test helps, but there's no universal playbook. Each brand has a unique audience. What's worked for one won't work for another. Without a strategy, you're just guessing. Scaling without predictability equals a dangerous gamble. Scaling isn't just about getting more customers, it's about knowing why people buy. Without a SEO strategy, growth is random, risky, and out of control. Some days sales spike, other days they crash. Scaling amplifies inefficiency, making bad results bigger. You can confidently invest in ads, inventory, or hiring when your revenue is unpredictable. Every big brand optimizes for consistency. Real growth comes from repeatable win, not lucky break. If you don't have a system for why people buy, you don't have a system for scaling. Customers feel lost and frustrated. A well-optimized store isn't just good for you, it's a win for everyone. Without a SEO strategy, you don't know what to optimize. And shopping feels like a struggle for every visitor. Here's what's going to happen. Visitors land on your site, but nothing guides them. They hesitate, scroll back, and say, does it really do what I think? They look for the info they need, but it's hidden, or not even there. The next step, they have to guess. What do you think happened? Of course they bounce. Not because they don't want to buy, but because buying feels like work. No system equals costly mistake. Every decision you make without data is a gamble, and in e-com, every wrong move doesn't just slow you down, it pushes you further behind. When these risks add up, they snowball into something bigger. We can see here on the image that we have low repeated customer, adding up that onto fixing the wrong problem, adding up that small mistake costs big money, and we add up again, you're always playing catch up. All of this results into massive risk, meaning that the next small mistake you will make will turn into a massive one, the one that puts you out of the game of e-com. Your time ROI is bad. You're already juggling with a million things: marketing, email, fulfillment, distributor, return, employees, etc. Now, on top of that, you're trying to optimize your store by yourself. Every A/B test feels like a shot in the dark. Every new angles you try fall flat. You spend countless nights, endless weeks, and second guess every move. And then when something works, let's be honest, you have no clue why. Meanwhile, your real priority get pushed aside, your business stall, your health take a hit, and after all that effort, your conversion barely move. That's because you operate on guesswork. You need a system that works without burning yourself out. What a CRO strategy is and the problem it solves. CRO sounds great, but what if it doesn't work? I'm not forcing this on you if you think you're above it. Or how do you handle customer hesitation that stops them from buying? How are you tackling people not trusting your brand? How can you fix issue without pinpointing the weak points? Let's face it, you don't know how to handle this. And without a SEO strategy, you're choking on your own growth. You could go all in some viral marketing stunt and pray it doesn't backfire. But are you ready to risk your whole brand reputation in a single crazy gamble? I would not roll those dice. Look, stunt like that might carry a one-trick pony brand riding on the TikTok trend. But when you're running a real brand with actual scale, pulling it off without a SEO strategy usually ends up in a dumpster fire. The hidden battle in every purchase. Buying isn't just about price and value, it's a mental negotiation happening in every visitor's head. Do I really need this? Can I trust this store? What if it doesn't work for me? Every visitor has a subconscious threshold of what must be answered before they feel safe enough to buy. But most stores leave these questions unanswered. Uncertainty equals no sale. When something feels off, visitors hesitate. Hesitation turns into second guessing, and second guessing turns into abandonment. Some objections are obvious, like the price, but most are subtle, like an unanswered question about the product, a missing social proof, or a value proposition hyping your vegan jerky as a keto bro lifeline. Without a strategy to identify and remove these barriers, you're losing sales without really knowing what's happening. Most people are not ready to buy. You already know this. Some bounce because they're just browsing, and that's fine. But the real problem starts when they're confused about what you're offering or don't see its value. You've lost them before they even consider your brand. A shaky first impression doesn't help. Buyers need all this clear in their head, and there's 1,000 ways to communicate your crucial information on your landing page. But one is insanely more efficient for your brand, and the answer to create it lies into your online store data. Here we can see a typical funnel of what's happening. You have a large amount of people getting into your funnel or your website. Once they do, they have this mental negotiation where they try to figure out if the product actually is what they want and if it can help them clearly. The important one here to take a look at are the one with objection. Some of them will think, is this brand real? Does their product work? I don't see anyone using it. Is this worth the price? I've been scammed before. Will it happen with this brand again? Look, you can optimize what you can measure. I know the only metric interesting to look at are your sales. All the others are irrelevant to you. But when you try to spot what is really hurting your sale, you need to dive deeper into this data. They actually are your eyes on your business sales. They are crucial not only for your growth, but for your long-term survival. I know what you're thinking. I don't need to dig into the data. IntelliGem's A/B tests tell me if a tweak works or not. But really, how many tests do you need to run before your conversion actually climb? 5? 10? With each test taking a week on average, that's a brutal time sink. Sure, the test spits out a win or a loss, but that's barely scratching the surface of optimizing your store. It only shows what that one change did, nothing more. Let's put that in perspective. Are those tests really the sharpest moves you could make for your brand? Are you blindly guessing, waiting weeks for each result and burning cash while time slip away? Your data speak and guide you to optimize. You've been here before, staring at your analytics, hoping the numbers will tell you something useful. But all you see is a chaotic mess, no clear message, just more confusion. At the end of the day, you're stuck, unsure what to do next. The reality is that your data alone won't save you. You need a structured approach to make sense of these numbers, a CRO strategy. Without one, it's like staring at a map without a destination. You might see what people drop off, but don't know why. You could throw an A/B test at it and hope for the best, but we all know this is gambling. Data is the starting point, not the solution. How a CRO strategy connects the dots. Your data is real intel, and a CRO strategy turns it into action for better sales. It ties numbers to fixes, mapping your data into steps that boost your bottom line. Before we break down what happened when your CRO strategy gets it right, let's zoom out and see how it fits into your business as a whole. You can see here that we have a circular diagram with your website that gives you your data, and from this data you can turn it into your CRO strategy, and from there you can go ahead and create your tests with all the tools such as the landing page builder and IntelliGems, and then it goes back to your website where the visitors interact with it, where you can get more data, create new strategy, and so on. CRO is the only way to turn your visitors into buyers without spending more on ads or relying on luck. The result of a data-driven CRO strategy: higher profit without more traffic and lower CPA. A CRO strategy lifts your conversion, boosts your sale, and builds your margin. Lower CPA come as more visitors convert, dropping your cost per buyer. The same traffic with more conversion mean extra revenue and no ad spend rise. With all that, you end up with way much more in your pocket. We can see here on the graph as the CPA goes down and conversion goes up, you end up having more in your pocket, meaning your margin is way higher. Now, the predictable growth instead of guesswork. Without a CRO strategy, every decision risks wasting weeks of potential growth. With one, that uncertainty disappears. You follow a clear path, making scaling predictable instead of a gamble. Growth becomes a process, not a shot in the dark. You understand your customer better and know exactly how to push your brand forward. Revenue stabilize, giving you the confidence to scale safely. At this point, you're not guessing, you're in control of your growth. Customer retention and lifetime value goes up. To create customer retention, you need to connect with your visitor. And connecting means understanding them on a deeper level. To do so, you need a CRO strategy. Visitors engage when you speak to their need, pain, and desire. Without a SEO strategy to pinpoint those needs, real connection is out of reach. And without real connection, it's not possible to have people come back to your store and scream at you, "Shut up and take my money." Think about the last time you bought from an online store. Chances are it wasn't just about the product. It was because they understood your need and you felt like the product would solve your issue. Less stress, more control. Without knowing what's working, every change feels like a dice roll. One wrong move could kill your sale or mess up something big. This makes you glued to analytics, doubting every tweak you make in an attempt to grow. It's a brutal way of running an e-commerce store. Every move could ruin your business and the job of your employees. But it doesn't have to be this way. A SEO strategy and the guesswork. On top of that, you'll get hard data to guide you based on your audience. No fluff. You stop freaking out over tiny mistake and have real peace of mind. This lets you take some clearly overdue vacation without stressing. Now let's go into breaking down the SEO process. We need to start with validating who you're really selling to. You probably got your ideal customer locked in. Age, gender, job title, the basic. But that's surface level stuff. It's useless for fixing what's broken right now. Raw data tells the real story. Why are you buying? Why are they bouncing? Those are the questions that matters. If they scroll like maniac, they're impatient or looking for something that they can't find. If they read review first, they're scared to pull the trigger. If they only shop at 3 a.m. on their phone, they are night owls with cash to burn. Every click and every hesitation is a goldmine. It pinpoints what they want, what they hate, and what's killing your conversion. This intel is the fuel that CRO use to fire up your store. It fuels killer copy, smarter layout, and create an offer that they feel stupid to say no. Most of you already get the gist of it, which is already a solid start. But you're missing that key piece of data to make this famous test. That test that will increase your conversion by 20 to 50%. Stop guessing what they want, watch what they do. This key piece of data will not be easy to find. It won't scream, "This copy sucks," or "They don't trust you yet." It gives you raw signal, behavior, patterns, and clue. Decoding them is no rookie mistake. Sometimes it points to a problem in your layout. Others, it reveals something deeper about your customer value. The big mistake most people make is assuming every drop-off is a website issue, or thinking every scroll is a visitor hook. CRO is not just about spotting what happened, it's about understanding why. The sad reality is that you have to take an educated guess with this piece of intel. Is it a problem on your store or a core motivator in your ideal customer that was misunderstood? To put it simple, here's an example. If your visitors scroll a lot, it could mean two things. Your ideal customer is impatient. They are searching for something on your store, meaning the layout is bad. Taking this educated guess takes experience, and this is where having an expert really helps. You can see what's broken before you try to fix it. The good news is whether this issue is on your store or a misjudgment of what they want, you can turn this around. But only if you spot the core issue. You can't fix what you don't understand. We all know what a blind fix leads to, so let's avoid that. That's why we have to dig into the data before anything, copy or design. This is where heat map, replay, and survey comes handy. Those are the hard proof of where the issue is. They get you to why the issue is happening. Once you have that clarity, change are not guess anymore. They are calculated moves that actually increase conversion. If you're not watching how people behave, you're not optimizing, you're just decorating. The perceived value is what sells. You can have the best product in the world, but if it doesn't show that clearly on your website, it won't sell. Perceived value is what the visitor feels in the first few seconds until they buy the product. We can see here a graph of the perceived value growing with time. At first the value is really low, and then at some point we reach that the perceived value is worth the price. This is where the actual purchase is made. On the section of the left, this is where your marketing happens. This is the perceived value. On the right, this is what the actual value of the product life happen. The top part means that the product is actually better than what it was perceived. And this is where people leave good reviews. On the other hand, on the bottom, if the value is not good and the product is disappointing, this means that the product is worse than the perceived value. And this is where people leave bad review. Now here's a few examples where most stores get it wrong. Let's take one crucial aspect, the product benefits. If they are not displayed easily, people have to search for them, then it's hurting your conversion. We have an example here of a long description that only talk about the feature. And on the right, some quick bullet points with icons explaining the benefit of using the product. The one on the right is clearly simple to understand and easy to read. These were the description of two creatine store. Most gym bro are not big reader. So here, bullet points with the benefit keep it dead simple for their crowd. The second example is the same thing, and it goes for the headline. But this one is more direct. You can address the fear or benefit right away. You can see on the left, we have DBAP Extreme High Steam Pre-Workout. Honestly, I have no clue what this means. And on the right, Clear Muscle HMB Free Acid. I know the benefit is even clearer just by saying clear muscle. Now let's go into the third example. A wrong use of the product image also generates a negative effect. Remember that the section above the fold is the only one that everyone sees. On the left, we can see that we have only two product images and both of them are the same thing. On the right, we have multiple things happening with the product image. These are used on the product page in the product carousel to let the customer see multiple things about the product without even scrolling. Now, having those implemented doesn't mean you have a bad product. It means it doesn't look great or feel great online. Our job is to close the gap. And if we look back at our perceived value versus actual value graph, we can see that the gap is created here before they actually buy the product. The quick fix is to make the value pop on screen, matching what's already clicking in most visitors' head. That's how you get the big conversion win. Not by changing the product, but by changing how it's perceived. Copy that connects emotionally. Perceived value doesn't just come from what people see. It's how your words make them feel. Good copy pulls them in, hook their heart while showing off your product. It frames the offer right. It builds trust fast. It wipes out the doubts before they even pop up. We can see that how we frame our offer actually impacts it. How we pitch it set the price in their head. Is it some random supplement that Arnold and Bumstead swear by, backed by real science? On the left, we can see that we have some feature description in the description. We have some meaningless copy that doesn't mean anything, that doesn't address anyone, and no one understands it. We can also see that it targets a very wide audience. And finally, we have one benefit. On the right, we have a good example. We can see that it emotionally connects with people by saying its performance as its peak. We can also see the fast and easy benefits like fast absorption, effortless mixing, and maximizing results. We can also see that it's target specific when it mentions athlete, fitness enthusiast, and pushing past the limits. And finally, we have the fact that it talks about social proof and that it creates an image of what it looks like to be using this product, here by saying power strength, fuel muscle growth, and accelerated recovery. So Building trust isn't just about peacocking with empty promises. It's being real, handling their worries in a clear way they understand. Adding proof it works and a pro behind it will make them feel like you're legit. So here on the left, we have a copy that doesn't create any trust and that talks about the features. We can see muscle tech creatine is higher quality and effective. Okay, it doesn't mean anything. It supports muscle growth and performance. Talk about some of the feature and or benefits. And on the right, we can see that the first thing here is that we set the global standard, which provide an authority-driven proof. With more research funded, university trial conducted, and US patent. So there's clearly claiming ownership and declaring that they're expert in the domain by saying this. And we can see at the end, we are the world creating authority, which is a bold positioning and generate an emotion. Guiding decision, killing doubts. This is where copy gets fun. You dig into all those nagging worries in your customer head. We've already pinned them down from your store data. Stuff like, will this work for me? What happens if it doesn't? Why should I trust this brand? You knock those out with tight copy, some custom image, and a smarter landing page section. It's all about lining up the words and idea with your brand looks, feel, and what your customer perceive from it. The right message to the right audience make the answer feel obvious. There's no pressure, there's no confusion. Think about it. No one buys a water filter. What they buy is a peace of mind for their family and safety. Nobody buys feature. Everybody's buy outcome. You think you're being clear. You've listed every feature, lab tested, medical grade material, 3 different certification, and so on. Yes, you appear as an authority, but the customer still doesn't get why it matters to them. People don't buy material or spec. They buy what the product does for them. They don't want macronized creatine. They want better workout and faster recovery. They don't care about the triple stitched backpack. They care that it won't fall apart mid-flight with their laptop inside. And yet, most product pages stop at the feature. If you think they'll figure it out, the benefit, you're wrong. It's your job to make it clear what they're getting. One trick to fix this is to ask "so what" to every point. You say it's made from premium cotton, so what? It's shipped in 24 hours, so what? It's got 5 patented ingredients, so what? Push it until you see why they would care. Something that hit the desire, fear, or frustration. If you get the message right, you don't need to convince your visitor. The mental negotiation they usually have doesn't exist. That's why clarity is king and should be used everywhere. Clarity builds trust while confusion kills sale. When someone lands on your store, you've got a few seconds of their attention. If they don't know where to look, they won't stick around to figure it out. That's why visual hierarchy is important. When a visitor lands on your store, it needs to be clear about what your brand can do for them. But you also need to guide their attention throughout the page. You can see here on the image that the call to action is very prominent and pop out of the image. So this is the first thing that is going to draw attention. Next up, we will see the background image of someone's playing tennis. So the value of this brand will be obvious. It's going to be something related about tennis, right? Then we go up to point 3, unleash your tennis potential, high performance tennis gear for champion. We already know more about the brand, we know what they're gonna sell, we know who they are targeting. And then up there we can see that we will see the testimonial, the stock testimonials, then our highs will naturally go down to the brand benefits, then down again to the free shipping, and down again to the resellers that this brand is actually selling. To keep things clear, you also have to be straightforward. If your headline, image, and description don't match what they expect when they expect it, you're forcing them to figure it out on their own. and most won't bother to continue. Here's a redesign we did that show how we turn confusing page into a crystal clear one. On the left, we think that the brand just sell dog food, but that's not true. On the right, we can see what the brand is really about. We can see that they sell a solution for dog health by saying the nurturing health one paw at a time, and the solution at the bottom that they can handle. Now look, to get a message across, you have to think for your customer. Ask yourself, where are they in their buying journey and what are they looking for? It depends on the funnel spot, but stuff like this can be answered easily. Why should they trust you? Then you just add a section for that. Why should they care? You need to hit their wants and worries. What's this even about? Well, you have to make your website obvious. If you manage to answer all these questions, you don't need any flashy tricks or hacks. You just let the page do the work for you. Design should move users forward, not make them think. Every extra step, click, or second of visitation add friction. That friction is what silently kills your conversion. A messy layout or a lack of hierarchy on the page make the visitor want to leave. Their brain is overwhelmed as they don't know what to look for. Good design is not just about looking nice. It's all about making the journey feel obvious. Here's a quick example. You can see on the left a clutter layout. Honestly, I don't even know where to start with this. I don't know what to look at. On the right, we can see a balanced layout where the design is clear. We can see a clear image of the product, a clear design, a clear headline telling about the benefit of the brand, and as well as more feature benefit here and a clear call to action. The same is also true on the other side. If it's too simple, you're communicating inefficiently. They'll have to work to find the answer of their question. There's a sweet spot they click. On the left, we can see that we have a layout that doesn't answer any pain point. It talks only about feature and the image doesn't create any emotion. On the right, we have a really balanced layout where we can see the brand benefits clearly displayed with the icons, as well as some testimonials, some picture about how to use the product, and so on. Now, your design should not feel clever. It should feel invisible. Your website is just the medium that you use to communicate your product value. The product is the star of the show, not your website. And that's what user experience is all about. How design impacts your perceived value. The first experience is always the most intense and the hardest to change. That's why a killer website design counts. And it doesn't need to be fancy. It just needs to spark 3 things in the visitor's head. This product matters. This brand doesn't cut corners. What I'm about to discover is worth my time. It communicates that your thoughts think through. It's more than the product. You're giving them a whole vibe. Your visitor pick up on this instantly, and they forget they are on an online store. They feel like they're exploring rather than buying. This means they're having a good time. Getting them to buy after this will feel much more smoother. Even if your product's amazing, poor design will lower its perceived value. On top of that, if your page clash, your trust goes out the window. Design have to be sharp, from the home page to the landing page. Now the landing page that will fit your traffic. Your business pull 3 kinds of traffic: cold, warm, hot. I know, you've heard this a million times, but bear with me on this. Each type of traffic don't have the same experience from your brand. So picking the best landing page for the biggest ROI on your efforts can be tricky. Some brands kill it on social media but sell tricky stuff. Others, like a small clothing brand who barely show up online, will have mostly warm traffic. Clothes are easy to get, complex products are not. Both of these types of traffic need to see a different information. That's why you match the vibe, cold, warm, hot, with the right landing page. We can see on the left that if you put all of your traffic into the same ad and the same generic landing page, you will just have no sale. A better strategy is to have one ad and one landing page for each of your type of traffic. It's more than just tying copy and design for your store. The landing page need to match too. Not all landing pages do the same job. Not every visitor needs to see a full-blown pitch. Someone coming from a Facebook ad doesn't have the same mindset as someone who typed your brand name in Google. So why do you send them both to the same generic landing page? Different traffic need different landing page. Returning customer already trust you. They are hot traffic. Cold traffic, that's another story. They don't know you. You have to work harder for them to click, to scroll, and to get to the sale. That's why we're building landing page based on intent. Here's a few common templates and when they actually make sense to use. Your advertorial or sales page works best for cold traffic and works well as well with a pre-sale story before product push. It's work well for complex or unfamiliar products where you need a narrative to build value first. The listicle, on the other hand, is best for cold and warm traffic. Your cold traffic mostly come from native ads. It works well as well for product discovery, so there's no intention to buy at this moment. It works well as for educating without having a hard sales. The product page works best for warm and hot traffic. It works for returning customer, ones that are coming back from email traffic or retargeting ads. The ones that are already familiar with your product or your brand. The ones that don't need a long explanation. The hard sell are best for the hot traffic. This is the traffic that will act when there's a time-sensitive offer, a one-time product campaign. This generally also works well with low tickets and impulse-friendly item. It works well also with affiliate traffic with purchase intent. There's no point in guessing after seeing this. All you need is to map the page to what visitor needs at this moment. The right page plus the right message plus the right traffic will give you sales. Now let's talk a bit about how these ads affect everything. If your page doesn't match the ad, you're wasting the clicks. Imagine someone's ready to buy and when they click on the ad, they land on a listicle where a cold visitor lands straight on the product page without context. It might seem minor, but that breaks their exploration journey. It's not just a bad user experience, it's a conversion killer. That's why we focus on the message to market first. A message to market that match. The landing page need to carry the same tone, promise, and energy as the ad they brought them in. When everything lines up, people don't have to stop and think. They just keep moving forward, enjoying the experience, which is exactly what you want. Matching the landing page with the ad is easy, but getting every piece fit together of the message can be quite tricky. That's why we look at the raw data and test upon it, turning insight into smarter tests. We've got the raw data from your page and ad. It reveals what's happening, where users scroll, how long they stay on the page, where they click. But knowing what is not enough. We need to uncover why. Like we've said, the issue could be your website or how your customers see your brand and product. Our job is to build an educated hypothesis on this, a clear theory about what's going on, what needs to be done to fix it, why doing this will fix it, and what are the results we're hoping to see by doing this. Now here's an example. If we move the key benefit above the fold, Visitor will understand the value first and be more likely to stay and convert. Here's a second example. If we replace the PDP with an advertorial for cold traffic, it will create better message, match, and increase the conversion from social media ads. From there, we grab design variation and test that hypothesis. Every change has to be tied to a reason. An insight without an hypothesis is just a fun fact and doesn't move the needle. Each problem found in the data lead to an hypothesis. Yep, you will have a ton of them. So that's why we need a system to pick the one that matters the most first. So how are we going to prioritize what moved the needle first? At this point, you've got a bunch of ideas backed by real data. Some are quick win, others are big play that take more work. But CRO is not just about testing everything. It's about finding what's worth your effort. Luckily, we have a system for that. How big of a win could this be? How likely is it to work based on the data? How easy is it to build and launch? These keep us focused on the change that matters, the one that can actually move the needle. We're not here to mess around with pointless tests. We test what maximizes your growth. That's how we stay lean, sharp, and always one step ahead. A repeatable process, not a one-time fix. Anyone can get lucky with a single test, but luck doesn't scale. Systems do. That's why we don't chase trend or throw stuff at the wall. Yes, there are rules of thumb that work, but they don't get you to the moon. Instead, we follow a process that shows us exactly what needs to be fixing. It's a loop that gets better every time. Behavior lead to insight, insight lead to action, and action lead to real results. Every test we run make the next one stronger, like sharpening a tool over time. Every success is built on the last. We can see here on the image that we have the effect of adding all the things that are needed for CRO, and that it creates a compound effect, and that your growth is actually exponential with time, and with the more things you add that improve your conversion. So this is why this system isn't just some one-off experiment or a quick fix we can walk away from. It's a system that you can keep running week after week. So why consistent testing beats those guru hacks? Well, there are rules of thumb that work, as I said. The quick change that boosts the clicks and fix a layout. But they are not better than a shot in the dark. If your store is working, you've got a crowd looking for something specific. Guru hacks won't show you what this is, but your data, they will. Big win come from consistent testing with the data. Learning what actually moves your visitors. I know, you were expecting quick hacks. But to get to the next level, you need real advice, not something generic. So chasing hacks never work in the long run. We're crafting an approach that will leave others playing catch up on your brand. Scaling becomes easier when your system is tight. If every test feels like a gamble and every win is followed by confusion, you don't need more traffic, you need a system. A tight CRO process makes the guesswork out. One that tells you exactly what to test, how to test, and how to move fast when something works. That's how you stop wasting ad spend. You stop stressing over every tweak and finally scale without losing your mind. It's not about doing more, it's about doing the right thing. The point of it all. The easiest way to do CRO and to get the most of your results. Small action will lead into big results. I'm all about making things as simple as possible, finding the low-hanging fruit and striking where it makes a difference. One way to do this is to build your own CRO system that works with your audience. This includes the following: an ideal customer that evolves with new input, an online store that talks directly to the pain point and desires of your customer, and a system to find those impactful tests. If you find one that crush, you should double down on it. Chances are high that your audience will react strongly to this type of change. So that's it for now. The blueprint is in your hand. Now it's just about testing, refining, and stacking the win. I hope you got value out of this, and more tutorials like this will follow, so stay tuned. Comment what you like to see in the comments below on YouTube, and I'll see you into the next one.